In today's video, we're going to take another look at the S&P Cash Weekly. And most of you have seen the work that I've done as far as the timing for a possible intermediate high to unfold around this grouping of cycles. Okay, now this is a weekly chart, and I have the cycles that come in this week ending, okay, the week of January 13, and also quite a few the 20th. All right, so the next few weeks, I'm looking for a potentially important high to unfold. Now, does that mean that it's in place just because we had a little bit of a pullback today? No. Okay, so yes, I told you that there was time and price resistance, but I'm not going to say that the high is in place here yet. We have not broken the back of the market or really seen anything more than just short-term sell triggers against these parameters. Okay, so let me show you, for example, what we saw on the daily chart today. So S&P Cash, as far as the daily chart's concerned, yes, we did, come off of some of this time and price resistance, but here you pulled back into key support that came in from a 618 retracement of the prior low to high swing and 100% projection of another prior high to low swing. Okay, we hit, we held, it triggered back on the buy side, at least in the short term. And if this low is more important, then your initial upside target is going to be this 2289 area. So again, you have to take this work from one decision to the next, and there are a lot of people that are looking at different time frames for this work. Okay, so yes, on the weekly chart, I am still looking for a potentially important high to develop, but no, I do not have any confirmation that that has occurred at this point. I'm going to show you one other thing. This is what I do as far as in the trading room. I did have this work up today. Now I will tell you that there were some higher levels that the market tested and broke below, but then we did have this cluster right underneath it, which came in at the 2246, 47.75 area. It included multiple price relationships, for example, a 618 retracement of this swing. We had extensions of other swings, lows to highs, extended downwards. We also had projections of prior declines that overlapped. And there was one other swing that I used here, which was I took this first swing down and projected 1618 of that. And that's where this cluster came from. Now, once again, I'm going to tell you that I don't know where the market's going. But what I did know when this cluster decision developed was that if this support held and if I saw a buy trigger, then it was worth taking a trade against that zone. So just to give you an example of what we use in the trading room, so when we tested that support area, you go down to a lower time frame chart, and on that lower time frame chart, you could see where there were buy triggers. We shifted from basically a pattern of lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. And we also had the moving average crossover with the 834 EMA. It triggered on the buy side by both having the crossover to the upside and also taking out a prior swing high in the process. Okay, so that told you at that point that it was okay to start looking back on the buy side again. This is actually a 2-minute chart in S&P futures. And at that point, you could have defined your risk either underneath the cluster zone or underneath this low. And we did get a nice rally. Okay, but what have you done for me lately is the question that you're going to ask. So let me just show you what the next decisions are. Now, typically, if this is a more important low, my typical target's the 1272 of the swing into the zone, which means potential upside target is 2284. Okay, we're still just taking this from one decision to the next, even though, I think we still could be putting in a more important high eventually. But that would be the typical target we would look for. But what's in the way of that, and where do you have to watch for possible failure? And that's going to come from basically 100% of this prior swing projected from the low. That's where we stalled so far. And then 100% of this prior swing projected from the low. That comes in at 71.5. It also overlaps a 786 retracement of this swing. So the way I look at it is, well, number one, if you took the buy side and we're getting up into resistance and we can't clear it, then what you want to do is ratchet up your stops. Okay, that's one thing. You can look at shorts on the flip side if it fires off a trigger against these areas. But just remember that if we just continue to hold above here and push through both of these areas, we are more likely to continue towards this upside target. So you have to remember, within the context of, you know, the multiple charts that I'm doing and different time frames, that there are going to be different decisions and different setups depending on, you know, what kind of a trader you are.